Greetings. This is Leon with Pride in Providence, and today we're speaking with the board president of the Community Action Partners of Providence, Ms. Althea Jones. Thank you for coming to Pride in Providence and showing your pride. Usually when I have my guests on, I usually like to talk about the background, things that they're doing, and what's going on. So, with that being said, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, hi. Thank you for having me on. But my name is Graves.
Graves, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Nope, I was born a Jones. It was Jones up until almost in my mid-20s, no sir, early 20s. Okay. But thank you for having me on. There's a lot of things going on, not just at CAPP, but a lot of things, throughout the city, as you know. Right. This is election year, and in the area that I'm from, Smith Hill. Okay. Hey, Smith Hillians.
Right. I have a few customers over in that area, so I know that area.
Yeah. Well, I've moved out and came back a couple of times, but Smith Hill is always going to be my little heart and soul because that was my mother's area. We moved there when we moved from the south. We moved into first Smith on the east side, but then directly over to Smith Hill. So I was raised in Smith Hill.
Which areas of Smith Hill streets?
Smith Hill is Douglas, Chalkstone, Smith, of course, and a lot of little streets in between. Right. It's right. Really, if you're going to our city capital, our state house, Smith Hill, it starts right there. So we are very, very important. We are the entry point, so to speak. So, but there's a lot going on. You mentioned CAPP. I am the chairperson of CAPP. But this is my last year, really, at CAPP. I've been there for a while. I went in when the transition was going on from pro-CAPP to CAPP. Sister Ann Keefe, I'm sure most of you know about her. I'm sure you know about her. She's the one that dragged me in. She dragged me in kicking and screaming because I was like, I have too many other things I'm on. I'm trying to get off boards. I'm not trying to add any more things. And she was like, no, we need you. We really need you, and this is for a really good cause. And we all know CAPP is a good cause. CAPP provides a lot of services for so many needy people. And people that are not, sitting down on the bottom. Because sometimes people say, oh, well, they put themselves there, and now they're not trying to get out. No, CAPP provides for a lot of people trying to get up, that are struggling, that just need a helping hand, a little step,
What do the acronyms of CAPP stand for?
CAPP is Community Action Partnership. Okay. But like I said, they do a lot besides just the heating. A lot of people say, well, CAPP, oh yeah, that's the place, we can go and we can get help with the heating. But, they do a lot of things in household, they help go inside if you need, someone needs something inside that house. And if we can't do it, CAPP can also lead you to other places that can help you out. But, there's educational programs going on at CAPP. There's a lot of things going on. I understand that you're going to have the director on soon, so I'm sure he'll be able to tell you a lot more of what is going on in the programs. But if you need assistance in turning on, for heating, for electric, if you need food, they have the food pantry. If you're looking for education, if you're looking for something, young parents and their children trying to get along to do things, they have all kinds of programs to assist.
I can say personally that I've benefited from some of the programs at CAPP, being also a alumnus of the Parent Leader Teacher Initiative. I finally got that right. I always screw that up.
You're not the only one, believe me.
Hi, Patty. How you doing? And Susan, how you guys doing over there at CAPP? I'm going to give you guys a shout out. I don't have my pin on, but I'm sorry I don't have my pin on. I usually have my PLTI pin on.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I do wear that proudly. A group, that's a wonderful program, and
It is.
my wife and I are alumni of that program.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
and I can personally say I've been able to use some of the lessons. Also, I need to shout out Dia Shore and Mary Claire, and also Janelle. How you doing, Janelle?
Yes.
You know, all important people there
Yes.
at CAPP and also at PLTI. Like I said, one of the greatest things that I learned from there is how to use intellect over emotion.
Yes.
You know, and it's a daily practice I use with discussion, you know, dealing with my wife, dealing with my children, dealing with other people.
Yes.
You know, you would be surprised just as a pause if you think I over E. You know, with this, it just honestly, it stops a lot of problems because because it allows you to breathe.
Yes, it
you
does.
know, that little pause allows you to breathe and think. You know, so you know. That being said, if there are other, and you don't necessarily, from what I understand, and this is true, you don't have to be a parent to be involved. The last, what they call cohort, we've had some community members that I know of that aren't parents that have been involved and that have graduated from that program as well. So, you know, like I said, you know, that's one of the things that I've benefited out of CAPP, you know, that I'm very grateful for, you know, which has allowed me to be a part of my community and, you know, again, show pride in Providence and started me here. So, you know, that being said, you know, but, you know, and
well, like I said, when I started, it was in that transitional state, you know, they had that little debacle going on and it was, so it was, there was a lot of angst, you know, and worry about would this agency survive?
Right.
Could it survive? And can it, you know, make it prosper? And it did. What ended up happening, we ended up getting a young lady, Melissa, husband who was fabulous. I'm happy and proud to say that I was one of the ones that hired her.
Okay.
She was fabulous. She came on and she really got the staff that were there, because a lot of them stayed because the staff was good. It wasn't the staff that caused the demise of that agency. It wasn't them. And it wasn't the programs. It was, you know, the upper echelon, you know.
If I can ask, when dealing with community programs and, you know, you've dealt with it, is it that sometimes you get the people, like you say, the upper echelon, you get people that are too comfortable, or it's like, okay, you know, they lose their passion for what they got involved in or why they got started. They become too complacent. And it's just like, okay, it's just a position to have, not why I'm here. Is that?
I agree with you at that statement, and I think it happens to a lot of agencies. And it also, politics started getting into the works there also. And I think we just lost our way, that people lost their way. But it's back now. The heart and the soul, you know, was always the staff. And they are still the heart and soul of that organization. The board is, we're there. We're gonna try to, we're there and we try to improve and help wherever we can. But I'm gonna be truthful with you. It is the staff that really runs it. It really is the staff that has it going on, because they are the faces that everybody sees. You know, they go in, and when people go in there in need, and you know, some people, you know, it's a pride thing. It's terrible when you feel that you have to go and ask for something. Some people just, you know, it's just a lot off of them. You don't want to do it, you know. So when they think, oh, these people just want to get a free, no, you have to be in their shoes. You cannot think from the other side of the water and say, oh, well, if I swam over, why can't they?
Right.
You know.
Not everybody has the same opportunities or has come across the same path.
Yes.
Right.
And not everybody can swim. I can't swim. You know. So.
Right. Right. It's like, you're going to avoid the water. It's like, I got to find me another path. Right. Exactly.
So, you know, so I think sometimes we as a society get to a little point where it's like, well, I got mine, you know, but we have to always remember that we didn't get here on our own.
Right.
Someone helped us,
right.
whether it was our parents, our grandparents, with the people down the street, a program that was going on during our time.
Right,
you know,
right,
a lot of African Americans that achieved middle class did it through the military. If
right.
it wasn't for the military, we wouldn't get here. So there's a lot of different avenues that we all have to go through
right.
to get to where we're going, and we have to remember that in the back of our minds. You know that. I'm here. I'm proud that I'm here.
Right.
And yes, I may have worked hard, but my hard work also came with others' hard work.
Right.
You know,
right.
if it wasn't for my mama, you know, being the strict person that she was, and,
right.
and all into the education, and you're going to learn this and blah,
right,
blah, blah.
Right, right.
You know, I wouldn't be where I am. My sisters and brothers wouldn't be where they were. Right. You know, so we always got to remember, you know.
It's like you say, it's hard as kids as we're growing up,
yes.
to understand what our parents are trying to diligently instill in
yes.
us, right? Mm-hmm. So that way, when we come across situations, we're prepared to deal with it, rather than saying, "Why me?" or mm-hmm. you know, being entitled
yes.
to certain things.
Yes, right. That's the way I feel. And you know, like I said, I went in there kicking and screaming. But once I got there, I knew, because on the outside, you know, you think you know, you
right,
know.
Right.
I didn't know all the things that were going on, you know, and all the people that it was really helping. I knew of some because some of my family has had to have it, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So far, you know, I knock on, because you never know.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I have not had to use the facility myself, but if I
you know
need to, I know those resources are there, and if I need to, I will walk in there with my head held high, because I am not too proud. You know what I'm saying?
As I've said before, you know, it's a situation sometimes with asking. You know, it's not so much a situation of being prideful. It's a situation where people want to ask for things and you don't ask because it's not about pride. It's like the letdown that you feel that when you don't get the help that you're looking for.
Or sometimes it's stigma.
Yeah.
You know,
yes.
you know, okay, I had to ask, now everybody's going to always hold that against
business,
me.
right,
You know,
exactly.
know all that. You know, like I said, I came from poor. Don't get me wrong.
But did you know that you were poor?
You
didn't know what. Yeah.
I'm gonna be simple. The whole community, we none of us knew we were poor.
You didn't know what. Yeah, exactly. And it's like
because we never wanted for anything.
Right.
You know.
Right. And like you say, poor is a stigmatism that's put on by society.
Yes.
You know, if it's a situation where you're in a community of love, whatever it is, you don't, like you say, you don't know what poor is because you have the things that you have. You know, you have the community, and that's where you don't. That's where you lose. You don't get the connotation of poor until somebody outside says, "Oh, you're poor."
Or you go somewhere and you say, "Wow, okay," you know, that type of thing.
Right.
But you know, we just we never wanted for anything.
Right.
And I mean, Smith Hill is a working class community. You know, that's you know, everybody there worked. It wasn't anybody, you know, okay, I was born with that silver spoon. No. We all had that same little tiny spoon.
Right, exactly. Yeah, everybody was sharing the same spoon. And it was a community.
So everything was fine.
Right.
I think one of the things that is problematic now is there's not that sense of community like there used to be. You know, I think people move more often. There's more people moving from, they're more transit. The transit, they move from here to there to everywhere. And back in the day, you kind of settled and you grew up in that community.
Right.
So you knew one another. You know, I was really close to a lot of the people that are now, you know, the politicians and all. You know, I knew all of them from childhood because we were all in the same neighborhood. But that was back in the day when the teachers were in your neighborhood, the police officers were in your neighborhood, you know, the principal was in your
exactly.
Everybody was there in your neighborhood.
It was one of those kind of situations if you got in trouble at this end of the block, by the time you got down to the end of the block, you got,
when you got home, everybody had, your mother was sitting there waiting, or your father was sitting there waiting, because they already heard.
They already knew.
So you're kind of dragging your feet, because you already know, too.
And everybody in the neighborhood saying, you better get your butt on home, because we know only talk. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
And then, you know, also, like you said, it was more of the communities were more diverse and people communicated more with each other than, you know, back in the day.
Yes, I agree 100%. And my mother was very into the community. She was, you know, my mother was one of the ones that spearheaded the health centers. You know, she was on the board for many years. She was always out there active doing that. She, you know, the CDC, the Smith Hill CDC, one of the original, I was on that, but she dragged me into that one, kicking and screaming. I was always getting dragged into something.
Well, no, you had mentioned that she's getting a street named after her or something like that?
Yeah, we're working.
Give us a little background about that.
We're working on, my mother was just awarded a MLK Achievement Award this year. My mom passed in March, but she got the award in February. My mom lived with Alzheimer's for the last 11 years of her life. So I just lost her, you know, but my mom was a strong person, and she made sure her daughters, her girls, were strong.
Okay.
She was like
some strong black women.
Yeah, she was like, no, look, nobody tell you what you can or cannot do.
Right.
If you put it in your head that this is what you want to do, then you go out there and do it. If you don't do it, don't blame anybody else.
Okay.
Because you didn't try.
Right.
Or you have tried.
Right.
Now, if you go out there and give it your all and you still can't, get back up, dust yourself off, and try some more.
Or try something else.
She said try some more, because there was other ways of going there.
Okay.
If there's a goal
that you want, and
you really in your hearts of hearts feel that this is what you really now need to do, you may have to take a path off, you know, every once in a while you got to take that detour.
Right.
You got to go through the country instead of straight down, straight down that highway.
Exactly. No. Then you appreciate the ride.
Yes. But she said it's determination. You know, you got to work hard and you have to have that determination. And always remember that. Always remember that there's always going to be someone that's going to help along the way. You know, we believe in God. I believe in God, you know. But for those who don't believe in God and believe in some other spiritual things or, you know, whatever, just remember that there's always somebody there. There's always something or somebody helping you along the way, and be appreciative of it. I also work in a lot of different things. I am on the library board, Providence Community Library. Okay. I'm also on the Friends of the Library. I'm on the Shippy. Hey, Shippy. Shippy is fairly new. It's really, it's a lot of different groups that meet over at the 400 on Smith Street. Okay. And we talk about mainly Smith Hill, but we do other areas.
Is it sort of like a neighborhood association?
Somewhat, but it's all the different organizations and community activists and stuff that are doing this, and we all work together. Like we're doing the block party now. We started the block party in the Smith Hill Library. Okay. It was like maybe 20-something years ago. It was like we dragged our own little barbecue things down there and we did it in the backyard. Now, last year we had 1,500 people come to our block party.
Wow.
We have another one coming up on the 22nd of this month, which of course this probably will be here before then. Right. But it's a great thing. It's something that we really, really need to do. But my biggest thing that I would like for people to know or even follow is we all have to do something in our community. Right. We all have to give back. There's no such thing as I got mine and forget the rest, because you're not going to make it far with that attitude, you know. Right. Because you may have yours, but when you die, what about your descendants? You know, we should always be our brother's keepers, you know, and reach back. So, you know, my mother was a big activist in the community, and she definitely shoved it down my throat. Like I said before, it was like kicking and screaming. I say that all the time, but I always go in with my eyes wide open. So I cannot say, you know, but I see the need for it more and more, because our government is doing less and less. We that are on the ground, we have to do for ourselves. We have to push ourselves up. We have to help others. We have to pull other people up with us.
Right.
Because sometimes you just cannot depend on.
You can't prosper on your own.
Yeah, on your own, and you can't depend on others from somewhere else caring about you.
Right.
Somebody in Washington, D.C. may not really care about little old you in Rhode Island, you know. So we need to really care about each other. We really need to, to love and understand and work with each other.
Okay, we're all good? Huh?
Goodbye.
Okay.
Oh, I don't cut my throat.
No, I mean, this is the edited. Yeah.
He does to say goodbye at the end of the show.
Okay, so are we at the 30?
Yeah.
We at the 30-minute mark?
Yep.
Okay, well, so then this is just extra time that I can edit out whatever. Okay, so what?
Yeah, so just say your.
Okay, so what we'll do? So yeah, so okay, so I'll edit this part in. Okay, so in the last few minutes, if you could tell us, you know, again, you mentioned your little 400 club. You know, maybe we could have you guys on as as a guest, and you can talk about that area. Would love to have you back. You also with the executive director. So like I said, in our closing minute, give us some more information or whatever else is going on that's coming up that you want people to know about.
Well, I would like for people to know that our council person for 21 years, Terry Hassett from the Smith Hill area, this is his last year. Okay. So there's going to be a lot of things going on that we're going to do for appreciation. The Providence Community Library is going to have a Lifetime Achievement Award ceremony for him. The Block Party, Smith Hill Block Party, is going to have something for him. They're going to have a dinner for him. Okay. And I think it's important because he's done a lot for our community. If it wasn't for Terry Hassett, the Smith Hill Library would have been closed. Every hot day that it got past 80-something degrees would have been closed. And that is detrimental to not just the children in our area, but all the adults also. Now we're a cooling station, so you can come on in and rest up.
There we go.
While you read your book.
There we go. Well, Ms. Graves, Althea, I want to thank you again so much for coming on today in Pride in Providence and showing your pride in Providence. I hope my guests